if you then check the lengths of these, so I've named this one read new DNA file. So the other DNA.txt file, I've put it into read new DNA. And the previous one that was just called DNA.txt, I didn't put in new. So I've just put read DNA and read new DNA, just to show you the difference in the lengths of the two files. And you can see that the second one is slightly longer. And that is because the second DNA was split over multiple lines. And this is important to note because Python, although we see blanks as blanks, or we see empty spaces as empty spaces, Python sees that as a character. So every time a new line or a space or a tab or anything that counts as a space is introduced, Python sees that as a character and adds it up as a character. And just to demonstrate this again with something smaller, I've created a variable name here called my characters, and I've put a simple string in there. This you should remember from last week. It's just called count me. So if I now print that and I print the length of that, you will see that it's 7 characters. And I mean, you can verify this by actually counting, 2, 4, 6, 7 characters. Now I've put a space in between there, and this should be 8 characters, right? And you can see that this is 8 characters. So now here's count me again, and I've added 3 new lines. And you will see that new lines get counted as well, and it will print this out. You can see there's a bigger space between here and here, and it says that it has 11 characters. And this is important because oftentimes you will get incorrect inferences about what is in your file, and if you are not aware that blank spaces are being counted by Python. And so Python has another built-in method, which is called .strip. I don't know why this looks like that now. Okay, I spaced it over too big. Let me leave that like that so that it looks neater. Okay, so Python has this .strip method that allows you to either strip empty space from both sides. So you can, if you leave it empty, then it just strips anything. It strips a space, whether it's 4 spaces. You don't have to know exactly how many spaces or tabs or lines there are. It just, and that's actually the one that I use the most, .strip. Then I know that it strips space from both sides of your file or of your line. Of all your lines in your file. If you want to specify that you only want to strip from the right side or the left side, then you would use .rstrip and .lstrip. And there are cases where you actually would want to use the rstrip or the lstrip. I will show that in a bit. Okay, so again, so now I've got this file, the OpenDNA file, and I'm doing exactly the same thing. And you see 213, but that was 213 before. Okay, that's your normal DNA file. I've used .read on that. So I take the same file and I add .strip to it. Now you can do this in one step, right? You can actually put this there, but I'm just separating it so that it's not confusing. You can do .read, .strip, .split, like you can add them all in one line, but normally for readability, people tend to create a new variable every time they do something to a variable or to data. So this one I've now named stripped. There's the original variable. I just put stripped in front so that I know exactly what I did. I add .strip. I print the length of that and I see it's 212 because it stripped any blank space that was before and at the back of the file. In this case, it was only 1. So that's 213. Okay. So this is where I wanted to show that there might be times when you would want to use something like rstrip. You don't need to only strip on empty space. You can strip on anything you want. So here, for example, I've got a sequence and I've got a small DNA sequence in there. that is stored into a variable that I've called my sequence. I don't want a poly A tail on there. So I'm going to, for example, strip the A's off there. Then I can say my sequence.r strip. And yeah, I might want to specify because this might have been, this A's might be in front as well. So if I just put dot strip, it's going to strip the A's off both ends. Or if I say dot L strip, it's going to strip off, oops, it's going to strip off the A's on the wrong end. So here I'm going to specify dot R strip, and you will see if I print this, and if I print, and if I strip it off and I print this, you will see that they look a bit different. The A's have been stripped off. So this is useful for, in some cases, you might want to strip off something from only one side.